Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're pulling back the curtain on a market that might seem specialized, but honestly its impact is pretty huge. We're talking about the global neutron detection equipment market.
Yeah. So our mission here is to really unpack the story behind its really impressive growth. We'll look at the market size, the share, forecast insights, basically from 2021 right through to 2033. The idea is to get a real handle on where the big opportunities are because what if I told you this market, maybe one you haven't thought much about, is actually set to more than double in value in like just over a decade. It's quite a trajectory, isn't it?
Yeah.
And understanding why is,
Right.
well, it's key. You see, at its heart, this equipment plays a really critical, often kind of invisible role in some vital sectors. Think about nuclear energy, for example, essential for safety, for efficient operations. Can't run without it, basically.
Right.
Then there's homeland security, super crucial for spotting threats, finding contraband, that sort of thing. And we can't forget scientific research. I mean, pushing boundaries and everything from material science to, well, astrophysics even. And technically, it's fascinating because neutrons, they don't have a charge. So they don't ionize matter directly, which actually makes them surprisingly tricky to detect.
Yeah.
You need specialized stuff to convert them into signals we can see.
Yeah.
Very precise equipment.
That background really helps frame it. Okay, so let's look at the big picture, the global numbers. They really tell a story of expansion right away. Back in 2021, this market was valued at almost $1.5 billion. To be precise, 1,492.93 million.
Quite a starting point.
Yeah. Now, fast forward just a bit to 2025, and it's expected to climb to nearly $2 billion, $1,154 million. But here's the real headline. The projection for 2033, it's a significant jump to over $3.3 billion. That's 3,347.31 million.
Wow.
And that translates to a really solid compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 6.96% over that whole forecast period.
Yeah, and what stands out there is just how consistent that expansion looks. A steady, almost 7% CAGR. It's not just random growth. It signals a real, fundamental, and rising demand for these tools. It points towards, well, deep, widespread investment in those critical areas we mentioned.
Okay, so let's pinpoint where this growth is actually happening regionally, because that's where you see some interesting dynamics. Let's start with North America. Right now, it's definitely a dominant force. So in 2021, North America alone brought in over $588 million. That's predicted to grow to over $752 million by 2025, and then reach a pretty impressive $1.24 billion by 2033. That keeps a healthy CAGR of 6.43%.
Still a very solid growth.
Definitely. And within North America, the U.S. is leading the charge. It goes from over $401 million back in 2021 to over $807 million by 2033. Canada is showing strong growth, too, projected to hit over $310 million by 2033.
All right.
But the real standout, maybe surprisingly, is Mexico. It shows the fastest growth in the whole region, jumps from about $47 million in 2021 to a projected $120 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of 8.2%.
Yeah, North America's dominance isn't a huge shock, really, given, the established nuclear infrastructure, loads of research facilities, big homeland security needs. The consistent growth, especially in the U.S., suggests ongoing upgrades, new projects.
Yeah.
But Mexico, that rapid acceleration is really interesting.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's likely not just general economic stuff. It probably points to specific new investments, maybe in their own industries or maybe a bigger focus on border security, protecting critical infrastructure. It's definitely an emerging opportunity spot right there.
Okay, good point. So from the Americas, let's hop across the Atlantic to Europe. Europe also makes a substantial contribution here. The European market had revenues around $290 million in 2021. That's expected to rise to over $371 million in 2025 and expand further to over $612 million by 2033, growing at a CAGR of 6.459%. Pretty close to North America's rate.
Very similar, yeah.
And within Europe, we see pretty consistent growth from the key players. The UK, for instance, is set to reach over $116 million by 2033. Germany's right there, too, also forecast to exceed $116 million. France moves towards $74 million.
Okay.
Italy and Spain are strong, too, reaching over $61 million and $65 million, respectively, by 2033. Interestingly, Russia posts a solid KGR, 7.027%. But Denmark and the rest of Europe category actually show some of the fastest growth.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that rest of Europe group hits over $45 million by 2033 and gets this, boasts the high...
Wow, okay. That variation within Europe really tells the story, doesn't it? It highlights where investment is flowing. I mean, established players like Germany, France, they show steady progress. But that big surge in the rest of Europe, it suggests, a broader adoption happening.
Right.
Could be driven by maybe new EU-wide safety rules, specific research grants, or even smaller nations boosting their capabilities in areas like, say, waste management or specialized manufacturing that need this tech.
Yeah.
It's a clear sign demand isn't just in the traditional heavy hitters anymore.
Yeah, definitely a pocket to watch. Okay, now, if you're looking for where the market is really exploding,
Yeah.
let's talk Asia Pacific. This region is, well, undeniably a vibrant, robust growth engine. Its market grew from over $423 million in 2021 to over $574 million in 2025, and it's expected to hit a really staggering $1.84 billion by 2033.
Over $1 billion, wow.
Yeah. And that means a truly robust CAGR of 7.844%. That's one of the highest globally.
Huge growth.
And China is leading that surge, climbing from over $157 million in 2021 to an impressive $425 million by 2033. That's an 8.564% CAGR.
Massive expansion.
But the real powerhouse in terms of growth rate is India. It has the highest CAGR globally at 9.614%. It's set to jump from just under $46 million in 2021 to nearly $138 million by 2033. Japan will also see its market expand significantly, hitting over $181 million. South Korea, Australia, also contributing substantial growth.
Right.
And others like Singapore, Taiwan, which reaches over $30 million by 2033, and Southeast Asia are all on steady growth paths too.
If we connect this back to the bigger picture, the sheer scale and that growth rate in Asia Pacific, it points to a major shift in demand, really. Countries like China and India with their really ambitious civilian nuclear programs and just rapid industrialization generally.
Right.
They're huge drivers.
Absolutely.
And India's exceptionally high CAGR.
Yeah.
That's not just general expansion. It strongly suggests significant proactive investment, probably in nuclear energy infrastructure, but also cutting-edge R&D. It's positioning itself as a future global leader in adopting this tech.
It really paints a picture of massive opportunity there.
No question. Huge opportunities for manufacturers, service providers, the whole ecosystem.
Okay, so that's a powerful growth story. Let's shift focus now to South America. Here we see an emerging market, maybe less recognized, but with significant potential too. The market there was valued over $83 million in 2021, expected to increase to over $111 million by 2025.
Yeah.
And hit over $194 million by 2033. That's a solid PGR of 7.193%.
Still growing faster than the global average then.
Exactly. And Brazil really dominates the region. Its revenues are expected to rise from nearly $39 million in 2021 to over $88 million by 2033. Argentina is set to grow to over $31 million. And Colombia reaches nearly $20 million, but listen to this, it boasts the region's highest PGR at 8.717%.
Another high flyer.
Yeah, and so Peru, Chile, the rest of South America, they also show healthy expansion. There's definite momentum.
South America's growth. Yeah, it's smaller in dollar terms, obviously, but it's consistent, it's strong. Brazil's dominance makes sense, given its established nuclear research programs, its industrial base. But Colombia's standout CAGR, again, it suggests something specific is happening there.
Like, potentially?
Well, maybe a targeted increase in protecting its own critical infrastructure, or perhaps an uptick in resource exploration. Neutron detection can be crucial for identifying materials underground, for instance. It just indicates this sort of quiet but steady embrace of advanced safety and analytical tech across the continent.
Interesting angle. Okay, next up, let's look at the Middle East. The market there is growing steadily, from nearly $53 million in 2021 to over $84 million in 2025.
Yeah.
And it's projected to reach over $150 million by 2033. That gives it a CAGR of 7.57%. Also strong.
Very solid, yeah.
And Saudi Arabia really emerges as a major player, growing from just over $24 million in 2021 to over $63 million by 2033. That's an 8.226% CAGR.
Right up there with Mexico and Colombia in terms of rate.
Exactly. And other key players like Turkey, the UAE reaching over $25 million, and Egypt climbing to over $16 million, they're set to see their markets basically double or more over this period. Qatar shows more moderate but still steady growth too.
Yeah, the Middle East growth story is particularly interesting. It's often tied into these ambitious national development plans, isn't it?
Like Vision 2030.
Exactly. Saudi Arabia's surge is almost certainly linked to Vision 2030. Massive investments in infrastructure, diversifying energy, national security, all areas where neutron detection is, well, vital, and the UAE's expansion, Egypt's too. It points to a broader regional push for advanced security capabilities, maybe new energy projects as well. It's really solidifying the market's presence in a, let's face it, geopolitically significant region.
Good context. Okay, finally, let's turn our attention to Africa. This region had a market value of nearly $45 million back in 2021. It's expected to grow to over $60 million by 2025
Okay.
and further reach over $100 million by 2033. That's a 6.522% CAGR. Still respectable growth.
Absolutely.
Nigeria leads the region here, with growth projected from about $11 million to over $26 million by 2033. South Africa is forecast to increase to over $32 million. And that rest of Africa category again, it will hit over $41 million. And its CAGR is actually a bit higher at 6.918%. So definite increasing demand across the region.
Yeah, Africa's market, while it's the smallest in, overall size right now, shows consistent, healthy growth. The demand drivers there often linked to expanding infrastructure projects, definitely mining operations, and an increasing focus on security as well.
Right.
Countries like South Africa, with more established industrial bases, they're sort of natural adopters.
Yeah.
But Nigeria's strong growth, and that of the rest of Africa, it really highlights the spreading recognition, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The importance of these detection capabilities for both economic development and national security right across the continent.
So, okay, let's try and bring this all together. It's really an incredible transformation we're seeing in this global market, isn't it? From that solid base, just under $1.5 billion in 2021, it's not just growing, it's on track to more than double by 2033, reaching over $3.3 billion. And it's backed by that remarkably consistent, almost 7% global CAGR. It feels like a market that's really steadily accelerating.
Exactly. And the primary growth engines, as we've sort of unpacked, are clearly Asia Pacific, North America, and Europe. They're the big players in terms of value. But it's really crucial, I think, to also acknowledge the robust potential we're seeing in those emerging markets across Africa, South America, the Middle East. The growth rates there tell a story.
Yeah.
This country-specific performance. It isn't just abstract data for you, the listener. It highlights significant opportunities for investment, for innovation. And it directly impacts critical industries like nuclear energy, it strengthens homeland security measures, and it helps propel breakthroughs in scientific research worldwide. Which, raises an important question for you to think about. Given this consistent, really widespread growth and all these diverse applications, what does this imply for how we approach global safety, our energy solutions, and just technological advancement in the next decade or so?
Precisely. It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? So what does this all mean for the future? As this neutron detection technology continues its rapid ascent with such consistent global expansion, what new, maybe unforeseen applications might emerge? Things that could potentially change our world in unexpected ways.